Hi guys, and welcome to the first podcast episode of On Track Mind. I'm your host Verity, and I'm joined by the gorgeous Sophie McGinn. You may know her as the owner of Shred magazine. She's a female racer and all-round icon.
I wouldn't say icon. She says sat with a coffee and a champagne glass. Like, why not?
It doesn't get much more iconic than that. So Sophie, give us a bit about you, like where you started, how you got into the industry.
Gosh, it's been that long now. I can't even remember. So I have pretty much grown up in the motorcycle world. Been riding myself since a tiny age. Been at track since I can remember. My dad was a mechanic for a few BSB teams.
All right.
So I've pretty much grown up in that industry. And then it kind of snowballed really. So I started doing a bit of social media bits for my friends that raced, little bits and bobs like that. And it's just eventually snowballed over these years into getting some pretty awesome like presenting gigs. I do a lot of social media content creation for quite a few brands in the industry. So like I do a lot for Rock helmets, quite a few for I know, always. For a few of the races. It's been a bit of a mental journey, to be honest, but I'm here for it. It's great fun.
And it's so amazing to see more women getting involved, and you were definitely the first main figure in the industry. I sort of saw you and I thought, oh my god, like she is badass, she knows what she's doing. I think I can't remember the first time I sort of came across you. It was through Dom Herbertson, shout out Dom.
Yes.
He said, do you know what, Verity? If you want to go further, message Sophie McGinn and make sure you're on the next trip with her. Like he was like, talking to her and you'll be fine. And you've helped me a lot already.
Here we are.
No, so it's, and I'm not trying to kiss your ass or anything, but definitely seeing your content creation, it's definitely inspired me, and you're like my role model.
Oh, stop it. That's so sweet. Thank you.
And I think it's really easy to, especially for women in the industry, it's very easy for us girls to sort of be shut off and do our own thing and not really be open. But you're one of the many that are so open about everything that it makes it more comforting for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the main things that I try and do with what I do and what I personally put out on social media is to be authentic as possible.
Yeah.
Like I try and put this across to so many people who either ask me for advice or I've been on other podcasts, and I'm like, just be you. People are either gonna love it or hate it, regardless of what you do or who you try and be or what content you create. People are either like it or they don't. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And if you can be as true and authentic to you as a person, then you're absolutely laughing. Like the stuff I put out, the raw stuff that you see of me, like, you know, I put something out of the weekend and I'm absolutely shit up to the eyeballs because I've been at motocross and I've got no makeup on and I look disgusting. It's like, that's me as a person. Like, be true and be authentic. And then there could be another post where, like, for example, I sent you a video yesterday and I was freaking dressed up as Harley Quinn doing a shoot at work.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's one of the main things I really try and get across to people is just be you. Don't pretend to be anything else. Like, it's social media. It's supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be fun and you're supposed to enjoy creating this sort of stuff. And the kind of moment that it starts to feel a bit of a chore or a bit like, if you start second guessing it, then change it up. That's the beauty of it. You can change it every day if you want to.
Yeah, and I've especially found that, especially with this being like the first podcast, I love writing. Like it's always been my thing.
Yeah.
But I found it so daunting having to write these articles, and it's like, well, what if I'm not presenting it as it should be? So I've switched it up, and I'll still keep on doing that. So if people want to read this as an article, I will have it up as an article. But yeah, like you said, just switching it up, because the first time I did it, I was posting like really basic things, and I was like, no, It's just not me. So I started
And it's
posting about
not getting your
motorsport
voice
life.
across how
Yeah,
you want it to come across. Yeah,
yeah.
I get that.
And that's why I want to do this like mini series of
Mm-hmm.
like women in motorsport, because
Mm-hmm.
you don't see that side of it. So
Mm-mm.
no, definitely. Um, but when you first started in the industry, what was it like coming into it? Like the attitudes towards you, like
Mm-hmm.
especially being a woman, how did you find it coming into this mad world?
Ooh. For me, it's I've always been quite a strong individual. So if anyone normally says a little comment to me or anything like that, they get it 10 times worse back. Um, but I think I think from growing up in it, it wasn't so difficult. I say it's been tough, don't get me wrong.
Hmm.
People actually taking you seriously. Um, people even now, people look at me, look at the blonde hair, stereotypical,
Yeah,
bird that they think is just gonna be a bit of a knob. But not saying
yeah,
all blonde people are knobs, by the way.
yeah. But
um,
that is true. It's I just did the article with Jill Gulli, and
yeah,
she said they just saw me as another blonde girl that didn't know what she was
yeah,
doing. And it's like, well, no,
love
she did.
Jill.
She has a degree and a master's. Like, she knows what she's on
Exactly.
about. Like,
She
and
knows her stuff, man.
I've definitely got it as well. It's like people will say stuff to me, and I'm no way trying to badmouth anyone in the industry. Everyone's lovely, but
Yeah,
there are certain times where you do get the odd comment of, "Oh, are you just here for the riders, or are you just here
yeah.
to get into a motorhome?" And it is really hard.
Hmm.
So when you've had that, as I suspect you would have,
Hmm.
you're a gorgeous individual who wouldn't want you. Um, how have you dealt with that? Because I think it's really easy, because there is this stereotype of, if a girl does something with a singular guy, she's dubbed a slag, she's dubbed this, when actually girls can enjoy their life just as much as guys can.
Absolutely.
So have you sort of gotten through that?
I mean, let's face it, it's no secret. Like I've dated a few racers.
Want a name
Like,
drop?
no, absolutely not. They don't deserve the clout, girl. They don't deserve it.
They don't.
Um,
No
so
disrespect, but
I think I think from that, obviously people just assume like I'm there with someone
yeah.
or that sort of thing. It used to be a lot worse a few years ago, but now I've kind of, especially over the past year, I really feel like I've found my feet and
Mm,
I'm getting the recognition and respect that I deserve in the industry for with my job, in general, because
yeah.
like I've worked my balls off, excuse the pun. I've worked my balls off to get to this point, and like for example, I did the arena cross gig on Saturday.
That was amazing. I saw that post and I was like, go on,
Honestly.
girl. Like, I was watching it, just waiting to see you start.
So for anyone that's kind of listening in, so the arena cross is a 5-6 part supercross series which travels all around the UK. And it's always been very male dominated. It's hosted by two great guys, Matt and Jeff. They are unbelievable at what they do. Um, but I got drafted in last minute as they wanted a bit more of a female presence on there, which was great. I mean, I've got a lot of experience in the motocross industry, so it
Mm.
was like chatting to my mates in the paddock, in the pit. So it
It's
was
nice
great.
when you have that chill vibe, because we
Yeah,
had Rafe Broadley, who obviously
yeah,
did exceptionally well last weekend.
yeah,
The time we're recording this, it was just recently the Birmingham round. They've
hmm,
already had
hmm,
the Aberdeen round.
yeah,
But it was amazing to see you come in, and even though it was last minute, because they wanted that
hmm,
diversity, they wanted to see a woman involved.
yeah.
How did you feel? Were you like, oh, I'm there for this, or I'm just gonna go balls deep
Oh
again?
gosh.
The pun.
Um, in all honesty, like I was a bit gobsmacked when I got the call up because um, it's quite a funny story actually. So for the past 6 years, right, well, it's been going forever, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Arena Cross. Past 6 years, I have sent an email every year to put myself forward for the female position.
Oh, wow.
Not even joking. Every year I sent an email
6
or a
years.
LinkedIn message or some sort of message to communicate and like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm here. I'm still
I
here.
am here, like, I'd be a great addition.
Yeah. And then I'd previously done some work with Jeff,
Yeah.
who's one of the hosts on the stream. But they kind of threw me in, and I honestly I was absolutely shitting myself before I got there. But I knew as soon as I got there, and I was like, actually, no, like I've got this.
Yeah.
This is what I've waited for. Like this is what I've waited all this time for. Like
Yeah.
my capabilities as a presenter, I knew were there, and I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
So
you've earned it. You're so deserving of that position.
yeah, without sounding like a bit of a cocky twat, but
No,
like, like
I can say it.
yeah, like I knew that's where I was supposed to be. Like that
Yeah.
was my place, and it probably just hasn't happened in the past because I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
But now we're here, and I've got another round on the 18th of this month in London. So
Oh my God.
exciting stuff.
Oh, it's so cool. Um, what have you found the most challenging in your career so far? So obviously you've got Shred magazine, which
Mhm.
I absolutely love. Big inspiration. I sort of stumbled across it and I was like, I'm gonna take some inspo.
Oh,
So obviously you've got Shred, you raised yourself, you went to Macau. How you
yeah.
survived that isolation, I don't know. Um, but there's a lot of things you do. Like you're
Mhm.
trying to. You've got fingers and pies everywhere.
Yeah.
What's been the most challenging aspect of that?
Um, Gosh. Uh, Not getting enough sleep, probably. No, I'm joking. Um,
I'm with you on that one.
um, I made a bit of a pact with myself last year that I was going to say yes to everything that I could.
I love that.
Every opportunity that got presented in front of me, I made a thing, and I was like, yes, I'm going to do it. And I had a bit of a look back the other day. I was looking through my phone, my camera roll, and stuff, and it was like, gosh, like when you apply yourself in a different way, and yeah, it might be challenging, like your anxiety might be through the roof. Like
Mm,
there's been times where I've been absolutely exhausted,
mm,
like, struggling to eat, struggling to sleep because I'm so overwhelmed with everything.
yeah.
And I just think, God, if I had said no and I was sat at home that weekend and just thought, oh, being
Seeing it on
miserable.
Instagram.
Yeah, like I traveled the frigging world last year just by putting myself out there and being more assertive. And yeah, it is really tough. And it's tough being away from home, like it's tough being away from family. And it's really tough managing um, the social aspect of things. Like last year, the past few months, like I hardly seen any of my friends because it was just chaos. Um, but yeah, I think the most challenging part of it was just actually, well, I say the scariest part of it was actually just having the balls to say yes and be like, yes, I am going to do that. And it's terrifying,
Yeah,
but my God, is it rewarding? Like it's so worth it in the long run.
yeah. And it is really easy to say no and sort of stay in your comfort zone. But then
Yeah.
the amount of times that I've sort of gone, oh, I don't know if that's right for me. Like I had an amazing opportunity to work with the brand Ugly and Co at the Birmingham
Hmm.
Bike Show, which is obviously where we met.
Yeah.
And I just said yes because I'd worked with them at brands, and I was like, okay, this is really cool. Like I really love working with
Hmm.
them. They are lovely,
Hmm.
lovely guys. Um, but I was like, Birmingham's far. Like it's going to be expensive. I was like,
Hmm.
no, we can make it happen. And
Yeah.
I'm so glad because the connections I made were, I can't even put it into
Yeah.
words. I feel
Yeah.
really fortunate. Um, so I'm definitely with you on the yes, saying yes all the time because
Yeah.
it's something that I think a lot of people struggle with. But when you
Yeah.
do it,
You have to really push yourself out there. Like I've gone to events before where I've not had a job. I've
mm,
used my last 20 quid of fuel, like
mm,
to put fuel in my van to get to somewhere. But on that day, for example, I would have met 5 different people that then spiraled into me getting another job. So it's like
yeah,
if things are tough and they feel like you're out on the last limb, is that the right word? Is that the right saying? I don't know.
Yeah,
But
on your last leg.
yeah, it's you've just got to do it. Like, it's scary,
Mm,
but yeah, it's definitely worth it.
yeah, because networking is
Mhm.
something that gets you through this industry. Like, I've really learned
Oh
that.
my God, yeah.
I sort of thought, oh, I can go and do this job and then I should be able to get there. And I was like, well, no, because if you don't know that person, you don't
Mhm.
know that. It is, I
Yeah.
am so, so thankful for the people I've met, especially Dom and the lovely, lovely Chrissy Rouse. Like, they
Oh,
really
we
helped
love those
me.
guys.
We love them. And honestly, and I've said this to Dom, I said it to Chrissy, and On Track Mind is based around those guys because it was
Mm.
those two that brought me to do it. They were like, just do it. Like, especially Dom, like, he was like, just go for it, you'll regret it. Like, and it's
Yeah.
so true. And I was very fortunate. It was almost a year ago at the XL show, that I was chatting to Dom and I was like, I want to do this, I want to do this. He was like, go for it. And then he was
Mhm.
like, come with me. And obviously they have, for those of you who don't know, at the XL bike show, they've got a massive flat track and they take pit bikes round and
Yeah, yeah,
they're crashing everywhere. It's a whole lot of fun to watch, let
yeah.
alone doing it. I can't imagine how fun that must be. But obviously all the riders are sat in the middle waiting to go out. And Don was like, come with me. And he just pushed me into the middle. And I was in with Tim Neve, Charlie
Yeah.
Nesbitt, Tom Neve was there,
Mhm.
Chrissy was there, Peter Hickman was there. And I was just talking to them, Danny Webb as
Yeah.
well. I was just chatting to them. And it wasn't necessarily networking stuff, but it was, I can't say half the stuff that was mentioned because it's very inappropriate. But it
Standard.
was, you're not going to get anything else if you put a certain couple of people together.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
and it's like, even that,
Mhm.
I then went back, literally a couple hours later, I was just wandering around, and Hickman was like, oh, you're right. And it's like, well, hold on, I've watched you growing up, and now we're mates, and
Yeah.
I follow on Instagram, like a like of a story. There's just different things from like other people.
Yeah.
It's like you make friends with people, they share
Mm.
your thing, they see you liking, and it's as
Mhm.
horrible as social media can be, it is honestly life changing. I think, especially with people
Yeah.
like us, like we wouldn't be able to do what we do if it wasn't for social media.
Mhm.
I think that's very clear
Yeah.
to,
Well, I wouldn't have a job. Like, I get paid to do social media. Like,
yeah.
that's it.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't get paid for On Track Mind because obviously it's my own thing. I haven't
Uh-huh.
monetized it, but I'm enjoying it, and it's like, okay, well, something may
Yeah.
come of it if I do merch, or if it lands me a job with a team doing some journalism bits or content
Mhm.
creation. That's what matters. Like,
Absolutely.
don't get me wrong, I have to work, I have to work a job and do this, and there's a lot of things to juggle, but it's
Mhm.
worth it when you love it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And obviously with the social media side of it, because obviously you've been involved for years,
Mhm.
when it gets negative, and it's so easy for it to get negative,
Yeah.
you've already said that you're a very strong individual, but how do you find that? Because sometimes you do just pick up your phone, you're on your own in your bed, and you've
Mm.
seen the message, and it's like, what the fuck do what do I do?
Yeah.
How have you coped with that?
Um, I never used to be in this mindset, to be honest. I went through a really sort of bad patch a few years ago with
Hmm.
I'd done a show for E4. I was
Yeah,
hosted on a car show for
I
E4.
saw that. I was doing my research. It popped up
Yeah.
on my YouTube, and I was like, fetus
Yeah,
pain.
I know. Um, yeah, so we did that and it was great. The experience was great. I learned so much as a presenter on that experience. But the show completely flopped.
I've never heard of it.
Completely flopped.
The
Yeah,
only time I've seen it was your clip.
yeah, they did. I think they showed 5 episodes. Bearing in mind, I was living in London for nearly 4 or 5 months filming it, so we did so many episodes.
Yeah,
Um, so I was away from everyone, so the intensity of that was living in a frigging travel lodge, like
yeah.
filming all of this. So the whole build up to that, and it not going the way that everyone expected after we put so much time and effort, and I'd put myself out there and put
Yeah.
myself on the line, and they literally canned it. I think it was after the fourth episode.
Oh my God.
And the hate and the comments that I was getting personally about the way that I looked, my haircut, the clothes I was wearing, even I had a set of dungarees on one day and then I got slated for that. Just, I mean, it was nothing of my doing, it was purely,
It's their weird
it's just what
opinion.
it is,
Yeah.
But yeah, that really, really spiraled me into sort of a really bad, I suppose you could say depression, yeah. But I withdrew everything. So I withdrew from social, I withdrew from putting myself out there, to being like, if you'd have met me then and met me now, like completely different people.
Yeah.
But I just literally got to that point and I was just like, why am I letting the opinion of individuals that are not on my wavelength or not on my
They
energy
don't know you.
affect that?
Yeah.
Why would I let the opinions of those people affect how I feel in day-to-day life? And since then, I just kind of like was like, right, no. And if someone, if I get a shitty comment now or something like that, I mean, touch wood, I haven't had a few for a while, but if I get something negative come at me now, I'm just like, well, you're entitled to your opinion. That's the you thing to think about. I'm gonna do my thing,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna do what makes me happy.
If you don't like the content, don't look at it.
Exactly. Don't
They've
watch
got a
it.
choice. Yeah. And have you found, so your life is your work, basically. You've said that there's been weeks where it's all just work, it's content creation. And obviously where social media, you pick up your phone and I'm working on my phone, it's that simple.
Yeah.
How have you found a work-life balance? Because I haven't got that. I'm like, right, I'm gonna have just an hour to myself, but I find myself writing up the next
Yeah.
post. How have you found that?
I don't really have a work-life balance. It all kind of like blends into
It
one,
merges into one, and you don't know where it crossed.
Yeah. I suppose that's the beauty and the downside of making your hobby your career,
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I am getting better at it. I've actually got an afternoon booked off work tomorrow, which I haven't done for about 5 freaking years.
progress.
So yeah, we're getting there. Um, yeah, I'm really bad for not taking any time off,
Yeah,
or, especially like I said before, with the whole saying yes to everything thing, I will be flat out all year. So normally, like, things start to get busy around now, don't they, for when the
yeah.
season starts.
People don't realise during the season
Mhm.
it's probably the easiest part. It's the
Yeah,
pre-season that,
yeah,
because especially for me with interviewing people, knocking that about, they're off in Spain. I can't get hold of them. And then it's a juggle. It's so
uh-huh,
hard. When they're
uh-huh.
actually racing, you can actually relax a bit.
Yeah, because at least they're like out of your hair for half an hour, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like they're flying around somewhere, and you can do your own thing.
Yeah, you've got half an hour of
Um,
free time.
yeah, yeah. But no, yeah, it is quite difficult. But I find as well, because I've obviously grown up in this industry, whether it's off road and track as well.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like double barreled across both. So as soon as I finish work at Ruroc now, for example, I'll go home and I'll be looking at stuff for shred.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally, like you say, it's literally instantly there
Yeah.
all the time, isn't it? And you haven't really. The only time I'll not look at stuff or be finding content or making notes on content ideas is when I'm asleep.
Yeah. I'm the same.
So bad.
I'm like, who am I gonna interview next? Or what am I gonna do with that? How am I gonna take
Yeah,
it? It's
yeah,
not until that split second you fall asleep that you're not thinking about it.
yeah,
And
yeah.
with that, you've said that there was a time where you were so overwhelmed that you kind of lost yourself.
Mhm, mhm.
So with that merge of a work-life balance, which you obviously said you don't really have,
Yeah.
how has your mental health been affected by it?
Gosh, like I say, I had that really bad spell a few years ago, and that was a case of not biting off more than I could chew, but that was a case of taking a lot on and not preparing myself properly for that. Whereas now, mentally, I do a lot of meditation work, breath work, stuff like that. I really try and keep. I mean, if anyone follows me on Instagram that's listening in, you'll notice that I post a lot about the moon and the crystals and shit like that.
I am so with you on that. Everyone spanks me for it, but I'm like, no, it's my thing.
No,
We're
honestly,
mutual. We're mutual.
yeah, I discovered all of that side of things like when I was going through a really rough patch, and
Okay.
a girl that I was friends with, she was a yoga teacher, so she was like, "Come along, I'll introduce you to some people." And I actually went on a retreat in Ireland
Wow.
where it was a breathwork retreat,
Oh my
and
god.
honestly, it was like a light bulb going off. Like I
Wow.
couldn't. It was just so focusing on your inner self and how you feel and how to manage those feelings
Yeah.
when you feel that low or you get frustrated or you get your anxiety and you're in that horrible fight or flight mode and you're just completely overwhelmed by everything. And that eventually led on to a ADHD diagnosis.
Okay.
So that started that whole
Yeah.
journey with that, which only happened sort of, my ADHD diagnosis only kind of happened middle of last year, I'd say.
Okay. So you've gone a good amount of years, and
Yeah,
it's only now that it's.
yeah, me thinking, oh my God, I'm being reactive in this way because, you know, I'm
I'm
just,
with you. Yeah, we're in the same boat.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking, oh my God, like, am I overreacting? Am I doing this? Am I
Yeah.
doing that? And if anything would go wrong in my little bubble, I'd just be like, no, run off from
Yeah.
it. But now, even just learning that and learning how to manage that, it's almost like it's flipped on its head. And it's like now it's this thing where I can, really channel myself into something because I get so obsessed with things.
Yeah.
Like, I get
You're
so,
in.
yeah, I'm
You can't see
fully
the
in.
exit.
No. So now it's really kind of all merged into itself. And I feel like, yeah, there's obviously everyone's going to have off days and
Yeah.
I get really frustrated some days,
Hmm.
but it's just learning how to fine tune that and work on that in yourself. And I know that if I'm gonna start getting stressed out or overwhelmed or get pissed off with something, and sometimes it's completely out of my control,
Mm.
I know how to bring myself back down to earth. That's what I like to call it anyway. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, hang on, check yourself a minute. So,
Go back
like,
down. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I'd say it's been a real sort of roller coaster of mental health emotions. And but yeah, once you kind of tune into that and really start following your gut, especially, oh
Yeah.
my lord, yeah, it's one of the biggest tools that you can have.
Yeah. It's so amazing to hear different people's takes. It's like
Mm,
did the interview with Glenn Irwin, and he said he went through an awful patch, which he's always been so
yeah, you
open
did, yeah,
about.
yeah,
And it's like you don't expect it. It's always the biggest characters
hmm,
you don't really know, and it's really interesting to hear different people's sides of it. So you have your
yeah,
own ways of coping. He has
yeah,
his own. He focused on racing, and it helped him. I
mm,
think it's so
mm,
easy in this industry, and it was brought up with Rafe Broadley, the arena cross,
yeah,
full-time arena cross champion. Um, he said, "Well, no, it's not spoken about. Mental health isn't really spoken about in
mm-mm.
motocross. But then you go to BSB, and it's we've there's just more being spoken
Yeah,
about.
yeah,
This is
definitely. I have noticed that over the past year or so that, like Joey Thompson, for example, he's just did a
yeah,
great podcast, an interview about his mental health.
that was amazing. That one,
Yeah, it was brilliant. And I just, Rafe's exactly right though. There is not that much in the motocross world that does get spoken about. They're almost like a few years behind the BSBs
yeah,
in a way. Um, but it definitely is improving.
yeah,
So it's getting there.
And obviously with this, this little series of women in motorsport, so we touched on sort of stereotypes of, especially being a blonde, being involved. Like, I get tempted to go back to my natural hair colour sometimes. I'm like, is it going to be me? But I'm like, no. But obviously you've said that you have dated riders. How have you found that being involved with them? And then when that relationship does break down, you're sort of stuck. Like, well, they just know me for dating X, or how do you find that attitude coming towards you, and how do you sort of micromanage it in a way?
Oh gosh, yeah. It's tough because it's almost, for example, like a Joe Public breakup, for example, would be, oh, they've gone their separate ways, that's it.
Yeah.
Whereas in the motorcycle industry, it's very public.
Yes.
And
everyone knows before even you know at some points.
Yeah. Everyone knows everyone's business.
Yeah.
And it's very public. And even now, like, I've been single for what, 6 months? Something like that?
Yeah.
Even now, I still get messages asking what's happened with my breakup. And this is 6 months later. And this is just random people that are messaging me. But because I do what I do, they think, oh, I'm just going to message her about her personal life.
Yeah.
It's an odd one. But yeah, I mean, it is quite tough to manage sometimes because people say comments to you, they're like, oh, where's your fella? Or stuff like that. And I'm like, no, I'm here as me. Like, I am a person.
Can we get that across, please?
Yeah. Like, I am not, just because of who I date, doesn't
define me.
Yeah, I don't lose my identity,
No.
I am me. And that's probably not helped me in my relationship sometimes, because I'm like, I am McGinn. Like, no one's taking that away from me. So doesn't really help. But
no, but I think it's all good, like, especially sort of away from the industry, like on a personal level, like in any relationship, you need to be, I am me. Yes, we're together, but we are individuals working together. Like, it's different. Because I've definitely found it. I have had, when I worked with the Ugly & Co guys at Brands, the amount of things that were like, oh, I'll come and buy some merch if you send me the link to your OnlyFans. I don't have one. I'd like to clear that up. I'd like to clear that up now, because Dom started a rumour that I do.
Don't
clear this up now.
Like, I freaking, hats off to any girls that do OnlyFans. Like, honestly,
you. Love you. I know people that do, and they're smashing it.
Yeah, right? But I must get probably 3 out of 4 messages a week. This is on Instagram alone, asking, can I have the link to your OnlyFans?
It's mad. And I think, again, this is no disrespect to anyone in the industry, but I think there are definitely some individuals that they've been swept up in the superbike, superstar lifestyle, and they think,
my God,
you know what, she wants to see that. And it's
the egos, honey, the egos. Oh my God.
Do you know what? I'm obviously not going to name any names. I'm not that girl. But I think when they say stuff to you and you go, you do know I'm here for the bikes, like, I'm just gonna go and watch, like, they're like, oh shit, fuck, I'm used to girls saying yes, oh shit, what do I do? And it makes them panic. And I think it's getting better.
Once you put your foot down like that, like, it does stop. I have to do it with people, and I'm like, oh, I've got your missus's phone number, right?
This is my point. The amount of adultery that happens. Stop it now. I can't cope.
But yeah, I mean, it is quite tough to manage sometimes, because people say comments to you, they're like, oh, where's your fella? Or stuff like that. And I'm like, no, I'm here as me. Like, I am a person.
Can we get that across, please?
Yeah. Like, I am not, just because of who I date, does
Doesn't
not.
define me.
Yeah, I don't lose my identity, you know. I
No.
am me. And that's probably not helped me in my relationship sometimes, because I'm like, I am McGinn. Like, no
Yeah.
one's taking that away
Yeah.
from me. So doesn't really help. But
No, but I think
yeah.
it's all good, like, especially
Hmm.
sort of away from the industry, like, on a
Yeah.
personal level, like, in any relationship, you need to be, I am
Hmm.
me. Yes, we're together, but we are individuals working together. Like, it's different
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I've definitely found it. I have
Hmm.
had, when I worked with the Ugly and Co guys at brands, the amount of things that were like, oh, I'll come and buy some merch if you send me the link to your OnlyFans. I don't have
Yeah.
one. I'd like to clear that
Girl.
up. I'd like to clear that up now because Dom started a rumour that I do. I just
Don't.
want to clear this
Right.
up now.
Like, I freaking, hats off to any girls that do OnlyFans. Like,
Honestly,
honestly,
power to
crack
you.
on.
Love you. I know
You do
people that
you,
do,
honey.
and they're smashing it.
Yeah, right? But I must get probably 3 out of 4 messages a week. This is on
Yeah,
Instagram alone, asking, "Can I have the link to your OnlyFans?"
it's mad. And I think, again, I don't, this is no disrespect to anyone in the
Mm.
industry, but
Mhm.
I think there are definitely some individuals that they've been swept up in the superbike superstar lifestyle, and
Oh
they think,
my god.
you know what, she wants to see that. And it's
The egos, honey, the egos.
no,
Oh my god.
do you know what? I'm obviously not going to name any names because I'm not that girl. But I think when they say stuff to you and you go, you do know I'm here for the bikes, like, I'm just gonna go
Yeah,
and watch, like, they're like, oh shit, fuck, I'm used to girls saying yes, oh shit, what do I do? And it makes them panic.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I think it's getting better. Well,
Once you put your foot down like that, like, it does stop. I have to do it with people, and I'm like, "Oh, you know I've got your missus's phone number, right?"
this is my point. The amount of adultery that happens, the amount of things that I will have a conversation with an individual and I've
Mhm.
made a joke. 2 days later, like on the Friday of race weekend, I'll make a joke to someone. On the Sunday, but like, oh, so you two, oh, you said that to him.
Oh,
And I'm like,
oh my
what?
god, don't.
Google translated that into saying I want to have sex with you.
Right, so one of my best friends, Tom Boo Famous, right?
Oh yeah.
We've been friends for freaking years. I've known him for freaking years. He's like a little brother, right? I've always
Oh,
done his brolly for him whenever he's been in this country, because it's just a thing. It's just a thing
yeah.
we've always done. And he obviously wildcarded at Brands, so I did his brolly for him at Brands.
Yeah.
And then, literally within half an hour of me walking back up from the grid, people were like, "Oh, so are you and Tom like now a thing, or are you shagging Tom?" And I'm like, "No, he's like my brother."
Yeah.
Like, stop.
It's so bad because I at the NEC show in November
Yeah.
last year, I needed to chat with a couple of people, and I was, there was fans waiting to have pictures, or people
Mhm,
needed to talk to
mhm,
them. I was just sort of stood waiting.
mhm.
They were like, "Oh, like, are you here for a picture as well?" Like, lovely, like, community,
Yeah,
like, everyone
yeah.
wants to know everyone. I said, "Oh, no,
Mhm.
I just need to talk to them, blah, blah, blah." And they're like, "Oh." And I'm like, "I just said I needed to talk. Like, where's this, oh, like, this suggestiveness come from?" Like, and it's really off-putting because
Yeah.
if anyone watching, listening
Mhm.
has followed me from my personal account, you will know, there's an X, if you want to give it a follow, you will know that I don't care what I post. If I want to post in my bikini, I will. But
Absolutely.
I did a grid walk. I was fortunate enough to go to the Rich Energy OMG Hospitality. Absolutely amazing guys. Um, and we did a grid walk, and the amount of people that I was like, you've
Mhm,
sent me a message after that, you've sent me a message after that. And I'm
mhm.
stood there because my dad, me and him go together. And I'm
Yeah.
there and he's just like, it's so funny. But I think it is really bad because the amount of times I thought I don't want to go, or
Yeah,
or an outfit. Like,
yeah.
I've decided to wear a big hoodie that I don't actually like because I don't want that name.
Yeah,
And
you don't want the attention from it, yeah.
yeah. And
Yeah,
like,
I used to really get like that, and I dulled myself down a lot to please other people. And I just literally thought one day, I was like, fuck this. I was like, if I want to get more tattoos, I'm going to get more tattoos. I'm going to fucking get more piercings. I'm going to dye my hair. I'm going to do what the fuck I want.
Yeah. If I want to wear eyelashes, I will. If I don't, fuck it. Does it
exactly.
Yeah, and I think navigating that again with social media is really hard.
Yeah.
But then again, obviously, we've said that social media is so rewarding. So it's like it is a bit like a catch-22.
Yeah.
So 1 minute you love it, 1 minute you're like, oh, can we not? But with you know, your career, you are smashing it. Like, I
thank
don't
you.
think I've seen anyone in this industry, especially in the content side. It's very easy for riders to go through and smash it because people see their talent straight away. They're picked up. Big teams have got them before you can even blink. But especially the content side is really hard. What would you say is your most rewarding job you've done, most rewarding work you've done? I know you've worked with amazing brands, so I'm not saying, oh, what brand, but like the opportunities that you've thought, I've done this is all me.
Yeah. Gosh. Do you know, I got asked this the other week, and it's really hard to pinpoint because I've done so much amazing stuff, and it doesn't really sink in until it's like
until it's
6
done.
months later. Yeah. And I'm like, holy shit, have I
Until
just
you look
done
at
that?
your camera roll and think, what?
Yeah,
That
legit.
was me.
Yeah. I definitely think the arena cross has to be like up there for me because obviously I wanted to do that for so long.
Yeah.
The most rewarding stuff, gosh. The women's world record stuff's pretty cool. We told you about that?
Yeah. Well, you haven't spoken on the pod.
Yeah.
Tell everyone about that because some people don't know.
So we did a women's world record attempt a couple of years ago at Silverstone. This is in the middle of MotoGP. And it was to get as many females on bikes on track at any one time. So we did a parade lap with the awesome girls from Moto Advisor, Sherry and Nimi. They're great. You want to get them on a podcast, by the way.
Definitely.
And they actually let me lead out
the
whole procession of women. So yeah, that was a pretty surreal moment, and it was like, this is freaking nuts.
You sort of like look at you and you think, what? Like,
yeah, that was pretty cool. I've interviewed like some of the people that I've interviewed has been really, really cool. Like Giacomo Agostini, like them boys from back in the day, like that was a pretty much like a bit of a pinch me moment, like interviewing him.
I think when you interview someone, you think, okay, I've interviewed them, then you sort of step back and you think, no, but everyone thinks this of them. You think, shit, I've done that.
You process it afterwards, don't you? You get so like.
It's when you see other people's reactions, you think,
yeah,
oh my god, yeah, like,
yeah,
it's baffling.
I think as well that I sat down with Valentino Rossi and interviewed him once as well, and that for me, I was so like, you know, when you get in that fight or flight mode.
God,
and I was just like, felt like it was done in an instant, but it was like a half-hour piece that I did with him.
Oh wow!
And literally afterwards, and like I messaged my dad, I was like, guess who I've just spoke to and interviewed? Told him, and he was like, what? That's amazing! Like, oh shit, yeah, it actually is. I did have this conversation with someone at work the other day because like Pete's one of my good friends now, and like all these people that you speak to in our industry and all the riders, they are just normal people. And I think sometimes that gets forgotten because they're obviously amazing at what they do, but they get put on this little pedestal and people forget that they are actually real humans with real feelings. And it's just it's quite humbling in a way, actually, because like, especially with Pete and stuff, you can have a normal conversation with them. Whereas obviously you do get some riders that are like,
look at me,
head in the clouds, egotistical, but yeah, we'll not go there. But
maybe we'll start a Patreon, we might go there.
Oh my god, yeah, let's name and shame them all.
BSB. We love you all, guys.
Yeah, we do. But yeah, it's strange because I think people do forget they are just normal people and they're just doing their job.
Like, I remember the first time I came into it, I was thinking, okay, I have to
Mm.
just prove what I know about the TT course. I
Yeah,
know this lap. They don't fucking care. They just want to know about you. They want to know about your life. They want to
yeah.
chat. Like, the first time I met Dom, I was
Oh, I love Dom
I
so
was
much.
like, their podcast, I was in a
Yeah.
really, really crap place, and
Mm.
that was literally what pulled me out. Like,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
hearing those two, like, it was absolutely amazing. And I was like, shit. I was like shaking, and I was like, Dom now. Half the conversations we have could never be aired, but
Yeah.
I was like, the first time I met him, I was like, shit, it's like, fuck,
Yeah.
in this situation? And then I was sort of talking about, the documentary, like the religious sport, like I loved it, like it was so gripping, and he was like, just chill out, man.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. He's been giving me some grief this week actually because
when's
I've
he
got
not?
I know I've got a new race suit from RST.
Oh, I cannot wait to see that.
Yeah, so he
I look
messaged
at the
me and
story
was
each day
giving me
like,
some
oh,
grief because he wants to see it. Um,
if you show him, you have to show me.
yeah, I will. I'll send you a picture afterwards. But
If
yeah,
you've got a
that's
Patreon, you
been
will have instant access to Sophie McGinn's RSVP in the future.
yes. Um, that's been awesome as well because like partnering with them, so it's official. Like I'm partnered with RST for 2023. So
That
we've
must
got
be
a bunch of
huge.
yeah. So that was a bit of a surreal thing actually because obviously I've known of the brand for so many years.
Yeah.
And they reached out to me and they were like, look, we really love your style. We want you to do some presenting videos for us.
Mm.
So that's going to be a series at the TT we're going to do this year.
A bit
The series is called Meet McGinn or something along them
oh,
lines.
you've got your own show.
Yeah, I know. So what we're going to do is I'm going to be riding around the island, going to certain spots, certain bars, chatting to people in RST, getting
Oh,
a real behind the scenes feel for the TT because I don't
yeah.
think that's documented enough. There's all the polished, great, amazing content that we
Mm.
get, but there's none of the real people. And
Yeah.
like, I want to go into the middle of bushes with a microphone and like talk to people and stuff like that.
The
So
David
that's
Attenborough of the TT.
literally. So yeah, that's the kind of plan. That we're going down the road with RST. But yeah, they've fully factory kitted me up with
Oh my god.
a race suit. So you'll know it's McGinn when you see it coming.
Oh,
That's all I'm gonna
brilliant.
say.
That's what you want. And obviously, you were at the TT last year. It was the first year back. Was that your first time being there working?
That was my first time ever at the TT.
Really?
Yeah, my first time ever. Obviously my partner at the time was racing as well,
Yeah.
which I found absolutely fucking terrifying.
Yeah,
There's
how
no
did you
secret
find
there.
that? Because I
Horrendous.
spoke to Jill about it, and obviously
Mm.
Pete, as you know, he's so chilled.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah,
Jill says him not being stressed her out. Like,
yeah,
how
yeah,
did you find it from your point of view, watching the TT,
yeah.
watching that person that you're with?
Yeah, it's terrifying, mate. And to be honest, like I found it quite difficult because a lot of my friends were there as well.
Mm.
So like Pete, you've got Mullet, there's people like that,
Yeah,
and it was not just watching my partner at the time, it was watching my friends go. Like there's Dom there, there's all these different
yeah,
people, and it's like anything could happen. And like me and Jill quite often would stand like at the side, like crying to each other. It's the last word because it was just terrifying.
yeah,
But you know that if anything ever happened, or you know, touch wood, anything like that ever
yeah.
happened, they are living the absolute dream.
They're doing what they love.
That honestly, I can't explain that enough. They are
Mm.
doing exactly what they have dreamt of doing for years,
Yeah,
and that brings me a little bit of comfort in a way.
it gives you peace in They know what they're doing, but they love what they're doing. And if that outcome does happen, then they're doing what they love. You know, it's so easy to say, but especially in this industry, it is true.
Yeah, but I think as well, like the rest of it, like I absolutely fell in love with the whole place. Like the island, the people, you know, just the charm of the Isle of Man is second to none. And then when you get all of the bike races in one place at one time, and all of the bike fans, and then you get all the partying and all the fun stuff.
Oh, brilliant!
It's like, it's just, I can't explain to people how good it is, and I'm sure you get the same vibes when you've gone.
I haven't been yet.
What?
I have never been. I'm a bit of a
girl.
I know.
Are you going this year?
Yeah. No. So jealous. Please FaceTime me.
We'll get you there. Don't worry. We'll get you there.
And one thing I do always ask my guests on Track Mind is if they had any advice for upcoming X, Y, and Z's, what would they say? So for you, what would your advice be for young girls who want to be in the content side?
Oh gosh. I think the same as what I said at the start of the podcast, really. Just be authentic.
Yeah.
And be true to who you are. Don't feel like, especially in the bike world, you don't feel like you have to get a bit of tit and a bit of ass out just to get followers on the gram. Like,
no.
If that's what you want to do, crack on.
I've owned it. I strut around in leggings and jumpers, and even then, I'm living that.
Yeah, exactly. Don't feel like you need to ever undersell yourself either. Be confident in your ability and who you are as a person, because the right people will value who you are.
100%.
Yes.
That's advice I could have done with a couple months ago. So I'm taking that on. I'm learning here.
Yeah, girl.
Yeah. Okay, well, is there anything else you want to tell everyone? Any bit of promo?
I don't think so. No, don't think so. Just keep up to date with everything McGinn on my Instagram, because that's where all the mad stuff goes down.
Have it on Track Mind, and also follow at on.trackmind. Can't forget the dot. So yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you, Sophie, for being a part of it.
Oh, thank you, love
talking to you. It's been amazing.
It's been delightful.
So yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.